Have you ever wondered how the Habsburgs, one of the most influential royal houses of Europe, rose to power? Let's take a dive into the annals of history and uncover the genesis of the Habsburg dynasty. In the verdant valleys of Switzerland during the 11th century, the seeds of the Habsburg Empire were being sown. It started as a modest lineage, far from the grandeur and opulence we commonly associate with the name Habsburg. But, as they say, mighty oaks from little acorns grow, and the Habsburgs were no exception. The first major turning point for the Habsburgs came in the late 13th century with a man named Rudolf I. A savvy politician and a skilled warrior, Rudolf was a man of ambition. He was determined to elevate the status of his family, and he did just that. In the year 1273, against all odds, Rudolf I was elected as the Holy Roman Emperor. This pivotal moment marked the true beginning of the Habsburg dynasty. Rudolf's reign was characterized by strategic marriages and shrewd political maneuvers. He consolidated his power, and in doing so, laid the foundations for the Habsburgs to become one of the most formidable dynasties in the history of Europe. Rudolf's descendants would continue his legacy, turning the Habsburgs into a force to be reckoned with. But, as we know, the path to power is rarely smooth. The Habsburgs faced their share of trials and tribulations, navigating the turbulent seas of political intrigue, warfare, and dynastic disputes. Yet, they persevered, their resilience and tenacity propelling them forward. The election of Rudolf I was just the start. The Habsburgs were on their way to carving a path of power and influence across Europe. This is the story of the rise of the Habsburgs, a tale of ambition, power, and resilience, a dynasty that would leave an indelible mark on the pages of European history. So how did the Habsburgs go from being rulers of a small realm in Switzerland to controlling vast territories across Europe, you may ask? Well, it's a tale of strategic marriages, shrewd alliances, and insightful leadership. The Habsburgs had a knack for sealing alliances with matrimonial bonds, a practice that significantly contributed to their territorial expansion. They recognized the power of marriage as a diplomatic tool and used it to their advantage, marrying into some of the most influential families across the continent. One can't discuss the expansion and consolidation of the Habsburg Empire without highlighting the reign of Maximilian I, who ruled from 1493 to 1519. Maximilian's marriage to Mary, the Duchess of Burgundy, was a game-changer. This union not only gave the Habsburgs control over Burgundy but also laid the groundwork for their future expansions. Maximilian's son, Philip the Handsome, followed in his father's footsteps. His marriage to Joanna of Castile, known as Joanna the Mad, brought the kingdoms of Castile and Aragon, which included Spain and its vast colonies in the Americas and the Mediterranean, under the Habsburg dominion. This was a monumental gain, extending their influence well beyond the borders of Europe. But the Habsburgs didn't just rely on marriages, they also formed strategic alliances and engaged in tactical warfare when necessary. They understood the delicate balance of power in Europe and knew how to tip the scales in their favor. Their strategy was a blend of diplomacy, warfare, and marriage, which they used with precision and effectiveness. They were able to weave a web of influence that spanned across Europe, making them one of the most powerful dynasties of their time. The story of the Habsburgs is a testament to the power of strategic planning and long-term vision. Their empire may have started as a small realm in Switzerland, but through calculated moves and shrewd alliances, they managed to transform it into a vast dominion. Through strategic alliances and marriages, the Habsburgs grew from a regional power into one of the most formidable dynasties in Europe. At the peak of their power, the Habsburgs controlled an empire where the sun never set. But how did they manage to maintain such a vast empire? We find the answer in the reigns of two remarkable Habsburg monarchs, Charles V and his son, Philip II. Their reigns marked the zenith of Habsburg power, and by delving into their strategies, we can uncover the secrets behind their successful rule. Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, was a master of diplomacy and statecraft. His reign was marked by a delicate balance of power, where he skillfully played off rivals against each other while consolidating his own position. He was also a fervent Catholic, and his religious policies aimed to strengthen Catholicism's hold in his dominions, a strategy that would carry over to his son's reign. But Charles V was not just a diplomat and a religious leader. He was also a military commander, leading his forces in campaigns against the Ottoman Empire, France, and the Protestant states of the Holy Roman Empire. His military successes further expanded the Habsburg territories and solidified their power. Then came Philip II, who inherited his father's vast empire. He continued his father's policies, both religious and administrative, but added his own touch. Philip was known for his meticulousness and his attention to detail. He personally reviewed and signed every document, a testament to his dedication and his hands-on approach to governance. Philip's reign was marked by a fervent defense of Catholicism, as well as an expansion of Habsburg territories overseas, especially in the Americas. His successful military campaigns against the Ottoman Empire and England further expanded the Habsburgs' reach, turning their empire into a truly global one. The Habsburgs had built an empire that was unrivaled in its wealth and reach, but maintaining such an empire was a Herculean task. The strategies of Charles V and Philip II, a blend of diplomacy, religious policy, military might, and meticulous administration, were key to their success. But as we'll see in the next scene, even the mighty Habsburgs couldn't escape the inevitable cycle of rise and fall. All great empires must face the test of time. So, what led to the decline and fall of the Habsburgs? The Habsburgs were not immune to the trials and tribulations that accompany power. Several factors contributed to their downfall. Firstly, religious wars. The Reformation in the 16th century divided Christians across Europe into Protestants and Catholics, igniting a series of bloody conflicts known as the Wars of Religion. The Habsburgs, staunch Catholics, were at the forefront of these wars. The strain of these conflicts exhausted their resources and weakened their control over their vast territories. Then came economic challenges. The Habsburgs' territories were rich and diverse, but managing them was no small feat. Their lands were scattered across Europe, making administration and defense a logistical nightmare. The cost of maintaining their empire, coupled with the financial burden of war, led to economic instability. Internal conflicts also played a crucial role. The Habsburgs' policy of strategic marriages often led to complex inheritance issues. These disputes created divisions within the family, further destabilizing their rule. In 1806, the Holy Roman Empire, a significant power base for the Habsburgs, was dissolved. Napoleon's rise to power brought a wave of nationalism that swept across Europe, undermining the traditional authority of the Habsburgs. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and the Habsburgs faced their final curtain. The end of World War I in 1918 signaled the end of the Habsburg monarchy. The empire was broken up into several new countries, and the last Habsburg ruler, Emperor Charles I, went into exile. Despite their fall, the Habsburgs' influence on Europe was indelible. Their rule shaped the culture, politics, and history of the continent. From the grand architecture of Vienna to the winding boundaries of modern Europe, the echoes of their reign are still visible. The Habsburgs' reign may have ended, but their legacy continues to shape Europe to this day. The Habsburgs may no longer rule, but their influence can still be felt today. But what is their lasting legacy? Let's delve into the cultural, architectural, and political heritage they left behind. The Habsburgs were not merely rulers, they were patrons of the arts and sciences, leaving a cultural legacy that still resonates across Europe. Their court attracted the brightest minds and talents of their time. Composers like Mozart and Haydn, painters like Velázquez, and scientists like Kepler thrived under their patronage, enriching the world with their contributions. Architecturally, the Habsburgs left a significant imprint on the landscapes of the cities they ruled. Vienna, the heart of their empire, is adorned with magnificent buildings like the Hofburg Palace and the Belvedere, testaments to their love for grandeur. From the Spanish Riding School to the Vienna State Opera, these architectural masterpieces stand as silent witnesses to the Habsburgs' era of opulence. Politically, the Habsburgs played a pivotal role in shaping modern Europe. Their strategic marriages expanded their territories, influencing the present-day borders of many European countries. The Habsburgs' rule saw the rise of Austria and Spain as significant powers, and their influence on European politics cannot be underestimated. Moreover, the political structures they established, based on centralized bureaucracy and diplomatic alliances, have influenced the governance of many modern states. The Habsburgs were pioneers in understanding the importance of a unified administrative system and the power of diplomacy, concepts that are still relevant in today's political landscape. In essence, the legacy of the Habsburgs is a multifaceted one. It is embedded in the sublime symphonies of Mozart, etched into the ornate facades of Vienna's palaces, and reflected in the borders and governance of contemporary Europe. The Habsburgs, once humble counts, rose to become one of the most influential dynasties in Europe, leaving an indelible mark on the continent's history and culture. Their story serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of historical figures and families on the world we live in today.